Բարև ձեզ, Երևանն է խոսում. Today we're going to talk about saving Armenia, that is the Republic of Armenia, that is about to be sold out in pieces. Just like in 1375 Anno Domini, the Cilician kingdom was destroyed. That's right, 1375 AD is when the Armenian diaspora became prevalent. And it is happening right in front of our eyes. The Republic of Armenia is being sold out in pieces, disintegrated, given away. So let's go through that, what we can do to unite all Armenians around the world. We will talk about what we can do individually to contribute to this global effort to stop the disintegration of the Republic of Armenia, to give it its strength, to give it its ancient power, and to revive the faith. Because after all, if we're not going to follow our faith, like walking on water, healing the sick, casting out demons, and raising people from the dead, just like Jesus said we should be able to do, then there is no hope for us. So thankfully, I have recorded a series where I share the sacred knowledge with you. I've purchased a harness, a GoPro camera with a harness, so you could see what I will see. Essentially, the GoPro camera is attached to my forehead. So you have a perfect vantage point. You see everything that I'm seeing. And I teach you how to connect to Mother Nature, how to say a prayer, and you'll see rain or snow or whatever you want. And by being on this frequency of God, this is what it's called, by connecting to God, by being on the frequency of God, you'll be able to do supernatural things, like you'll be able to walk on water, heal the sick, cast out demons, and even raise people from the dead. What I'm doing. So the idea is very simple. In order to be able to control your health, your environment around you, for example, if you wanted to, move your hand, raise your hand and create some wind, which I will show you how to do that in just a second, hurricane strong wind, you have to make sure that nobody's around so you could focus. You turn around like this and you look at the tree, you put your hand on the tree to kind of meditate, to basically get on the frequency of the tree first. This will help you focus on the frequency of God, to connect with Mother Nature and to affect basically to manifest a connection with Mother Nature through the leaves moving. And again, I'll show you how to create strong wind. And also, but just moving your right hand. You see, when you start moving your right hand, the wind starts to move, and then you sort of magnify the movement. And then I'm going to take you to, there is a pond over there, and I'll show you how to walk on water. This is my next step, if I can make it today before it gets dark. That will take a little bit more concentration than this, but this exercise is rather simple. So you make sure you're not distracted by anyone. You focus on the tree. You just stand there. I'm going to contract this whole process for you, but normally you spend a good half hour or an hour, however long it takes, until you establish a solid connection with the tree, with Mother Nature. The fact that it's so beautiful, it gives us oxygen. It's very beautiful, and obviously it cannot send you an email, but it communicates. So you have to get on that frequency of the tree first, because it's right here before you get on the frequency of God. And then what you do is, after you connect with the tree and after you are able to connect to God, to the frequency of God, which I will help you, you focus and you concentrate on the wind kind of a formation, and you kind of spiral it. You see how it begins to form, and I'll show you here in just a second how the wind begins to form as I move my hand, and it becomes this hurricane strength wind. You understand? It gets stronger and stronger. You don't want to get it up to more than 30 miles an hour, because it becomes a problem. You have to lower your hand, the wind will die down. But the first step is to connect to the tree. Then the second step is to connect to the frequency of God and become one with Mother Nature. And only then you are able to affect the tree, affect nature, walk on water, raise the dead, or people from the dead who passed away. And then you just basically, you move your hand and you are connecting to God, unless you become distracted by some you know, some people driving by is quite distracting. You don't want anybody to be distracting you. See, that's not good. But nonetheless, I will show you here how to concentrate and focus, so you could sort of move Mother Nature, you know, create this wind as you know, basically you play with Mother Nature, you become one, and you sort of create, you know, this is 30-mile-an-hour wind. I wouldn't go over that, because at least at first, until you become more comfortable, because this is how sometimes the wind gets carried away from you, and then you have to flee the area if you're not careful. Okay, so anyway, you just play with Mother Nature, you know, you kind of connect with the tree. It's very beautiful, and it will connect with you as long as you sort of feel its vibrations, feel its frequency. And then as you are able to connect to the tree, you see you're obviously affecting the winds and everything else around you. What you do is you connect from the tree, right? So you're sending the energy from the tree. You see you moving the wind. You're moving the wind. You transition to the body of water, and you begin to walk on water. And again, that part is a little bit more complex and tricky. But by just sort of being one with nature, being one with water, it's not your enemy, it's your friend. That's when you're able to transition, which I'll show you here in just a little bit. As long as there's nobody there, we don't want to scare anybody. Remember, you cannot have any people around you. It's not going to work. If you have people around you, it will ruin your exercise, ruin your meditation. But you see, you connect with the tree.